My name is Upendanais Barasa. I moved to Japan to teach English from Kenya. If you're interested, subscribe. You don't want to miss it. Come on, join the bandwagon. Hey guys, Upendanais, back to your screens. But the first week we discussed the requirements that you need to move and things that you need to consider. But where do you actually apply for the job, Can you guys see what's happening here? No? Okay. Where to apply, the websites, the companies. Yes, that's what we're talking about today. And I think it would be best if I would describe, exactly how this works before we actually get into where to apply. So basically, when you move to Japan, your role is to be an ALT. What does this mean? A stands for assistant, L stands for language, T stands for teacher. Okay, so you're basically an assistant language teacher to somebody. Okay. And I think somebody asked me under the requirements that I never mentioned anything to do with a CV, cover letter, because you don't need that. How it works with LT jobs in Japan, your CV, you fill in an application. So basically, that's like your CV. They would ask for your name, your experience, your education background, etc. So you don't need to sit down and crack your head about how to write a good CV or a cover letter. So let's start with websites. So the first website is GaijinPot. Gaijin is a Japanese word that means foreigner. So basically, GaijinPot translates to foreigner pot. I hope that makes sense. So basically, this is where you find jobs related to English teaching. When you go into like the GaijinPot website, just input like specific keywords like English teacher or something, and then jobs will come up and then you can apply. So that is one of the ways you can apply to teach English in Japan. Okay, the next website would be Link Japan Careers, LJC. So basically, just go on your browser, type in Link Japan Careers. The website will come up, you will see a place to apply, just apply. It's like you're creating a profile of yourself, of your name, education, experience, work experience, and then there's a place for essay writing. I think I'm working on a video about how to write an essay. It's just a short essay about what you want to teach English in Japan, basically. So that's another website where you can apply. Now, away from the websites, we have companies. Okay. So basically in Japan, I think we have dispatch companies, which means private companies who hire teachers in Japan, who have contracts with schools and Board of Educations in Japan to hire teachers from abroad or from within Japan. And then the most popular program is called the JET program, which I think is run by the government. I'm not sure, but I feel like it's run by the government. And the JET program is not for everyone, basically. It's the most competitive, it's the best program if you want to come to Japan, but it is only available in certain countries. I think JET came to Kenya in 2007, 2008 for 1 year, and I think that was during the post-election violence in Kenya, and they left and they never came back. So currently in Kenya, in Africa, they're only in South Africa. And then I think they're in Jamaica, the Philippines, and then the other native speaking countries like America, the UK, Canada, Australia, those countries. It is very competitive. They have the best benefits. They cover your flight costs, I think, half of your accommodation costs. So it's the best if you're from a country that has the JET program running. I think that would be the best, but very, very competitive. Okay. Apart from the JET program, we have dispatch companies. So dispatch companies, like I said, they're private companies who take up the role of hiring teachers to teach in various schools and board of education in Japan. However, we have reputable dispatch companies and not, horror stories companies. But in general, I would say dispatch companies are the easiest way to get into the country, and then from there you can find your bearing in the country. But I've had stories of people going for smaller dispatch companies. I think if you're thinking the dispatch company route, you need to think bigger rather than going small. If you're not accepted in all these big dispatch companies, maybe you can consider small dispatch companies. But the stories I've had with small dispatch companies is, in fact, recently I was following a TikToker who already moved to Japan only for this company to say, oh, they're not able to hire him anymore because maybe they just don't have enough money to keep him. And they don't have a contract. I don't know. But when you go for bigger companies, because they have a reputation, they've been around longer, they are well established, you're not going to run into such problems. But what are these dispatch companies? The number one dispatch company, I think, which is the best in Japan, is Interac. Interac, not Interact. Interac. Interac is, I think, the biggest private dispatch company in Japan, and they have been in the game for long. They have an established system as well. So Interac is one of your safest bets. Interac. Don't worry, I'll put the links to everything that I talk about in the description box, so you can go back and look at that. The next company is Borderlink. Borderlink is also a big dispatch company in Japan. When I applied to teach here, I applied to various two companies, Borderlink being one of them, which I ended up not going with them because they responded late, and at that point I had already gotten an offer and accepted the offer from a different company. So Borderlink is a good company if you're looking to apply. I met Borderlink on GaijinPot, so you can go directly to the Borderlink website, but when you go to GaijinPot, you'll also find some of these countries advertising positions in GaijinPot. So you could choose either to go in the specific company websites or go at the job listings in GaijinPot, but not all have a listing. Okay. The next one is Altia Central. So with Altia Central, I think I know one Kenyan who works with Altia Central. The only downside to Altia Central is the teachers only work in the central part of Japan, hence the name Altia Central. So it's like you're restricted. You can't have the opportunity to maybe work in other parts of Japan. You're only restricted to the central part of Japan. But I would say that's a very great company. If you don't have a problem with that, you can go ahead and apply to Altia Central. Next company is Gaba. Gaba, I don't know much about them, to be quite honest, but I would say it's one of the big ones. It's one of the big ones, You should try. Maybe you should try. But I would say you could start with the first three: Interac, Borderlink, Altia Central. If you're not accepted, you could try Gaba. Also, there's no harm in applying to all these companies and go with the one that actually responds first. There's no crime in that. Next is Heart Corporation. Heart Corporation, I don't know if they're big or mid-size. I'm not sure because I don't have lots of stories with them, but I know very many people who work for Heart Corporation, so it's not as bad if you're not accepted in the first three. The next few ones, I think they're more mid-size to big. It's still okay. You could try Heart Corporation. The next company would be Nova as well. Nova, I don't have much information about Nova, but I know it's a big company. So you don't have to worry about it. Quite reputable. Also Gaba and Had Corporation, and then we have Amity Corporation. Amity Corporation, I have a story with them. When I was looking into applying to teaching English in Japan, I tried to apply to Amity, but they never responded like 3 times. And there's a girl from Zimbabwe as well who teaches English in Hong Kong, tried her luck with Amity, never got a response back, but she says when she started working in Hong Kong, they actually responded to her email. So maybe they have a standard. Maybe they just want teachers from specific countries and not Africans, unfortunately. So I don't know about that. Maybe you're from other, first world or native English speaking countries, you could try your luck with Amity Corporation. It does sound like a good company from the website. Now the next ones, I don't know much about them, just from my research. Yeah, I don't know if they're big, I don't know if they're small, but I'll just mention them for anyone who would want to try their luck. We have alls. I can't say much because I know nothing. We have A to Z or A to Z. A to Z, A to Z. We have ECC. Never heard of them, but ECC, just from my research. We have Westgate, and then we have GIEC program, JIECC program. I don't know what that stands for, but I'll put the links in the description. And then lastly, we have Beneath BE Studio. Basically, I know nothing about them as well. So let's start from the top. We have GaijinPot, we have Link Japan Careers, we have JET program, we have Interac, Borderlink, Altia Central, Gaba, Hot Corporation, Nova, Amity Corporation, Alls, A to Z, Westgate, ECC, Beneath BE Studio, JIECC program or GIEC program. You could have a look at their websites, go to the apply section, they always have. Thankfully, all the information about these companies and Japan, very transparent. If you want to know what is the salary range, what is expected, how do you apply, just visit the websites. I will link all the links to the companies in the description box, so you could just click the link and go directly to their website and read through their company's vision, mission, whatever. If this was helpful, please come back next week for an even better video. See you.